Hi everyone, welcome to Hilltop View Journals. Today I'm starting a new project, woohoo! And my desk is awash with gorgeous digital kits from Sweet Pea Curiosities, and this kit is called Moments Pressed in Time. I will leave the link to where you can purchase this in the Etsy shop, or have a good look at it and have a look at the wonderful flip throughs that Marissa has got on Etsy for you. It's just stunning. Oh, I'm back to blue. I'm ditching the pink, guys. Pink's gone, blue's in. And what I've also got, although there's some pink in this, but I've got tons of Sweet Pea Curiosities gorgeous ephemera kits. So do check out her. These are all upside down, aren't they? They're in a bit of a mess. I haven't prepared for this video at all. But do check out her Etsy store, because there is just some gorgeous stuff. Absolutely gorgeous stuff. So I'm going to be busy over the next couple of days whilst I'm doing prep work and thinking about what I want to make. I'm going to be busy cutting ephemera and embellishments, so I need something to put my ephemera in, and I've got a video on my channel on how I made this and a couple of other ephemera folders as well, so I will link that in the description box. So today I'm just going to run through with you how I make these pages, because they're so versatile and easy and quick, and a nice little project that you can get on with without having to think much. As you can see, I've started cutting and I've got plenty of pages to fill, and I will enjoy over the next few days just sitting down in the evenings and just doing a little bit of fussy cutting when I can keep my eyes open instead of falling asleep in front of the TV, and that will keep me active. And while I'm fussy cutting, I'm thinking about what I want to do, and I'm planning things out, and I'll have my phone by the side of me and I'll start making sort of some notes in the package that I use that gathers all my ideas for my project. It's called Notion, if you're interested. And if anybody's ever interested in how I do collect information and organise my projects, please let me know and I will try and share that information with you. So we're going to do one of these or two of these pages today, and it's a very simple tutorial, nothing stressful at all. Hopefully it won't take too long, but I think it'll be invaluable to have so that you can do some fussy cutting and save all these gorgeous images. I've already started preparing the ephemera for the project, and you'll see here that I've just got a couple of pieces. So these are from the Moments in Time kit, and I like to put something on the front of the journal or ephemera folder, and this can be easily turned into a journal, but we'll call it an ephemera folder. So I put something there, so that reminds me of the general theme and colour scheme, etc., to what I'm going to be working with. And then inside I'll keep then more pages and scraps and things as the project progresses. So I'll have some scraps in the back there with that held held by the belly band, and I've got another belly band, a real strong belly band there. And then I've just got these pages, and I make these as I go along, so depending on what ephemera I cut out, I'll then go and make a page. These ones I've stitched all around. You don't have to stitch all around, and I'll show you because I'll be gluing these as well, and we'll just make a couple of these today, and I can show you how easy it is to make them. You're going to need some paper as your base. I'm using some spare pages that I've printed quite plain backgrounds on, and then I generally use vellum. So this is a sheet of vellum, but I've also got a couple of sheets here of tracing paper, so it looks very similar. So this is the tracing paper, this is the vellum, but the tracing paper is a lot lighter and usually a fair bit cheaper as well. So depending on what you're using this kind of base for, I suggest that vellum is probably better for pockets, which I'm going to use it for, but I'm going to give the tracing paper a go as well. This will go through your printer, and it's perfect for using for collage and things. So I bought a packet here to show you. So this is the tracing paper from Amazon, but you can get loads of different types. So it's 63 GSM in UK. Don't know what that is in US, unfortunately, but I'm sure you can do some conversion on Google. But tracing paper, vellum, whatever your budget allows you to buy. I tend to buy both. Of course, you can use paper for your pockets, but I like using vellum because you can see through. So I've made these like little pockets, or envelopes I should say, and you can see inside them. So that's why I like using vellum. And I've taken one of the pages out of my journal, ephemera folder. And let's just grab one of these pages. And the first thing I'm going to do is cut them to size, or cut this page to size, because my ephemera holder is smaller than A5, because it's designed to hold signatures for a traveller's journal. And that's what I like about making these type of ephemera folders, is that you can chop and change their use. So I could at any point decide that that becomes a journal cover. But I like it too much as a ephemera folder at the minute. But that's not going to stop me changing it eventually. Okay, so there's your page. And you can fold it in half if you want to do these pockets separately, and it does make a life a bit easier. You can put the strip all the way across, but I find when you fold it, it then can gape a little bit in the middle. So I'm actually going to fold mine, and I'm going to do each pocket separately. Now I know from what I've cut so far is that I need more smaller and medium-sized pockets. They have got a belly band, they have got a belly band. If I show you the journal, I'm going to say journal all the time, it's going to drive you nuts in this video. If I show you the ephemera holder, you can see here I've got a much deeper pocket. That's a slightly deeper pocket for smaller things, and it really does depend on the size of the ephemera that you're cutting. There's nothing worse than having a pocket that is too big and then you can't get in there to actually get the ephemera out. That drives me insane. So I do try and create several types of sized pockets to suit what I think I'm going to cut. And then it's easier if you do work on the page as a full page. And I've tried this different ways, you know, whether you fold your sheet that way or whether you fold it this way. I don't think it really matters. There probably is some kind of scientific way of making sure that you get the maximum amount out of your sheet of vellum or tracing paper and little wastage, but I tend to use the small little things that are left to either make smaller little pockets that you can put in the front of the pocket for those teeny tiny ephemera pieces, or I'll use it in collage. So nothing really goes to waste, not in this household anyway. So let's fold this in half, and then I'm just going to measure the width. Well, she says measure. I'm not going to measure, clearly. I'm just going to cut this down so that I've got pockets to fit. And I don't think I need any large pockets, so I'm going to cut these down again. And so I'll probably make a sort of a medium and a small one. So here we are. I instantly have 4 pockets. And then if I go here, and one of the things I like about ephemera holders that use the elastic is that you can move the pages around. So if you've got a certain theme or colour, then you can match the ephemera, because there's nothing worse than having lots of different ephemera in a folder and the colours aren't together. Yeah, something else that really, really annoys me. So I'm using Bailey art glue. Any type of craft glue will work for this. And I'm putting it on the edge as best as I can. And as long as you leave it long enough to glue in place before you put your ephemera in there, you don't need to stitch. I like to stitch because, I don't know, it just looks nice and I get to practice on my sewing machine, so I always tend to stitch unless I'm in a real rush, and then I won't bother. But you will get, eventually you'll get a stronger pocket. This, I would class this ephemera folder as a temporary folder. You will get rips and tears with using something like vellum or tracing paper because it is quite thin. But I reckon when you're making something like this, the fact that it might not last indefinitely is absolutely fine, because we're crafty people and we can just make something else and replace it. That's my thinking anyway. And who cares if you've got to redo it? You had fun making it, you had fun using it, and then you get to make it again. And maybe do it slightly different and an improved version. So I never think about, will this last? Because I'm just dealing with what I want in the moment. I do enough planning and organising and thinking ahead for everyone when I'm in work every day and the family. I think when it comes to my crafting, I just want to craft and not have to put too much effort thinking about it. I just want to do it. And then if it doesn't work out, I can just fix it later. So I've got the page upside down here, which probably isn't helping you guys, but that's why I'm gluing the pages, gluing the pockets upside down. Just in case you're wondering and you're thinking I've gone mad. There we go. Simple as that. And then on this side, I'll probably cut these in half or half-ish. Could have done that together, doesn't matter. I'll try and make them the same size though. So these are a little bit too big. So I'm just going to cut them down. So these are spare, but what you can do is create another little pocket here. And you can retrofit these in as and when you need them. So keep the little pieces because they become very handy. So you can just put some small ephemera there. So that's an idea for using these. Okay, so let's see if I can match these up. So I've got that one, I think that goes with that, and I think that's that size. So again, this size usually will fit a nice medium-sized tag. It's probably the one size that I use, and I'll measure it now once I've glued it in place. And I try and get it so that it is on the edge. So I've got 3 edges there, and I will be stitching all the way around there, just to give it a little bit of extra strength. So this pocket is 12.5 centimetres, it's just shy of 5 inches by about 5.5 centimetres, which is about 2.25 inch. So that's what I find the best size, because you can put large tags, small tags and journaling cards in there. And I find it very helpful when I'm at the start of a project, a new project, because it is quite daunting. You know, when you've got that new kit or you've got that idea and you think, oh, I don't know what to do now, and it's almost like staring at the blank page. So I find just doing this, which is really simple, and gathering all my materials and fussy cuts and things, I just find it really helps me prepare for a project. And keeping everything together as well, especially all those fussy cuts that you'll probably do away from your craft space. And I don't know how many times I've actually lost a ton of stuff because I've put them somewhere safe, can't find the damn things, and then I've got to print them and do them all again because I can't find them. Oh, how many times have I done that? Doesn't bear thinking about. And there you go. They're ready for the sewing machine now. You can stitch on the bottom of the pocket as well in the middle, but if I was going to do that, then I'd make sure that these pockets on either side were the same, so that I would get, I'd be fussy like that. I would want the stitching to get both sides, and it's really not worth, I don't think it's worth that effort, to be honest, because it'll glue pretty well. And this is the tracing paper that I'm using now. And let's cut another page. So I've got another page, and let's fold it in half so I can get my bearings. And then I've got the offcuts from the page, so I will use those as belly bands. So they're the perfect size if you want to do it that way, but I tend to have belly bands that go this way. So I'll cut this now. But these are perfectly adequate for making into pockets. If you haven't got vellum and you don't want to go and make some, then use these as a pocket. So what I could do here is make the belly band. So I just need a bit of glue either side, pop it somewhere in the middle, and then I could even create a pocket there, but it's the right, let me just cut it down. There we go. can make a pocket there then. I'll pop it there. So I've got a belly band and a pocket. And here I can make that into a pocket. And don't worry if you go over the edge a little bit, you can just snip it off. And what I like using the belly bands for is to house my little envelopes. So let's make a little envelope. And I'll use the tracing paper. Now this isn't going to be eloquent at all, okay? It's just going to be a quick make. So I'll make it fairly wide. So whatever size of your page, you need to make an envelope that's going to fit. So this is about 9 centimetres, 9.5 centimetres, which is 3 3/4 inches. And then we've got 8 1/4 inches and 21 centimetres, which is the standard size paper. So I'm just going to try and stay in frame, which doesn't look like I'm doing very well. Okay, so you've got your two sides there. And what you're going to do is you're going to fold up a little lip there, and you're going to fold down a lip there. Obviously, the shorter you make these, the larger your envelope is going to be. Then you want to take the page that is the inside, or the side that's the inside there, and you're going to cut this off, just the one side, and this off. So that's what I'm cutting. I'm just going to do that. Again, you can keep these pieces. Not if you scribbled on them maybe, but... Okay. Sorry, I just had a massive sneeze then, so I'd try and save you from the horrific sound. Okay. So I haven't done a very good job of cutting that, but no matter, because we're just going to take a slither off. So I'm just going to cut a little triangle and then sort of go around a bit. Flip it over, cut a triangle and go around a bit. If you want to be precise, fold it and cut it in one. So if I do the precise method on the other, on the bottom piece, so you just want to snip it off there so they'll be equal on either side. Depends how much of a rush you're in. Okay, and what you're going to do then, I did wonder whether that should be inside, but no, I think that would make it awkward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the bottom of this flap so glue it on the two sides, and then you just glue up the bottom flap. You know, doesn't look pretty, granted. You know, it's a simple make, but it does the job. Of course, you can make this out of paper, and what you could do is you could make it so that one side is vellum and one side is paper, so you can see what's in there. Do something like that. This is what I got on my desk, so this is what I'm going to do. And then make sure that you've got a little bit of room up the top there, so just fold it again. So you've got like a little bit of a hinge there. You can make that hinge bigger if you want. And then what you need is a piece of card and a round punch. So I just found a bit of scrap and punch a hole. And then I'm just going to use this spare piece here and punch a hole just to glue it on so that it looks fairly tidy. So you just want it so it's a decent thickness. And then, of course, you could cover that with, oh, I'll tell you, let's do it. Let's cover it with a bit of washi as well. You could cover it all with washi if you wanted to. It's pretty. Just tidy it up. That's a nice easy way to add a little bit of a pattern to your button. And let's ink. Finish it off. And then what I do is I just glue the bottom half. And fit it on there so the little lip will fit. It sort of fits snugly. I'm going to leave that there for a second. I'm not going to play with it, but I can show you the other one. So it just fits like that. And you can strengthen this with washi tape if you want to. Add some embellishments on there. You know, have a play. This isn't the neatest of buttons, but... So let's go back to what we made. So that will go nice in there then. So you can put awkward things that, particularly sort of flower fussy cuts and things that you might want to protect. You can put them in there and then they're easy to store and they get nicely protected. So I do need a couple of pockets. So I've got a little bit of vellum left over from the envelope. So let's cut this to size. Try not to cut the page, which of course I have done in the past, as you can imagine. And I could probably rip this tracing paper, but I might as well keep it neat. So that's 2 pockets there. And then we've got a smaller pocket there, so I think I'll use that as a tuck spot. So let's pop that on first. That's a a nice large tuck spot. So any offcuts of paper that you've got will be perfect for this. So I'm just going to glue that in so that it's got a bit of strength. I made a bit of a mess, but that's okay. It'll do. It dries clear. And then let's make some pockets on this side. So that's just a couple of ideas for ephemera holders. Very plain, but of course once you start stuffing it with lots of goodies, that's the decoration then, so you don't really need to decorate. I'm going to wait for these to dry and stitch around. So I've stitched all around and I popped a bit of washi on that corner there just to give it a bit of strength. And I'm just going to slip these in now. And then that gives me a couple more pages to play with and to add ephemera to. And I'll just create as many as I need as I start to fussy cut. That's basically what I need to do now, guys, is just sit down in the evenings whilst my husband has his crappy programs on and get on with fussy cutting. So I hope you enjoyed this really, really simple tutorial, but I thought I'd share what I was doing and give you some ideas maybe. And please do go and check out the video on how to make this cover, because you can do so many things with it. And it's a very basic cover as well. And hopefully you'll find that useful too. You'll find the link to that in the description box. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.